Fox News is learning FBI agents are on site at a Fulton County election office in Georgia, where they are conducting a search. David Spunt's got more details for us on this developing story. David?
Hi, Sandra. This is a satellite office for the Fulton County Elections Office. The FBI Atlanta press office confirming this, not giving many details, saying that the FBI is executing a court-authorized law enforcement action. No other details at this time, but we do know via sources a judge signed off on this warrant, allowing these agents, as you see them, enter this building to take items from the inside. Now, we're told that this is a sealed matter before the court, meaning details are now limited. Now, agents are looking at documents, phones, computers. We are told via multiple sources this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Now, we don't know specifically what agents are taking to the FBI lab, items that may eventually become part of a federal case. You may remember President Trump was charged in Fulton County with trying to overturn the 2020 election results. That's Brad Raffensperger right there. He is the Secretary of State of Georgia. That is the Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Willis. Now, Raffensperger spoke to President Trump back in early 2021, and Trump said that he wanted to find some 11,000 votes to help win the election. Raffensperger said that he felt pressure from Trump. Willis then took Donald Trump to trial. That didn't happen. In 2023, she said that her prosecution was all buttoned up, ready to go, but it was completely derailed after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. It's important to point out, Sandra, that a judge typically would not just sign off on a warrant so the FBI could go on what's known as a fishing expedition. It's likely the FBI and DOJ presented some credible evidence to the judge for the judge to go ahead and give the green light. No immediate comment from the Justice Department. Again, the FBI confirming this court-authorized search warrant. We are waiting to see if perhaps Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, or even Secretary Raffensperger, or perhaps Governor Brian Kemp have anything to say. We'll follow it. Sandra?
Okay, David Spunt there in Washington on that for us. Keep us posted. David, thank you. Bill?
Thank you.
Well, Sandra, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin has a court hearing next week, and his lawyers want to exclude video of the murder happening. They claim it would violate his right to a fair trial. For more on this, we are joined by Andy McCarthy, a Fox News contributor and former assistant U.S. attorney. Andy, always great to see you. Thanks for coming on this afternoon.
Bill, how are you?
Good. So I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts here. So this hearing next week, it's not on the merits of the case. It's the defense trying to get a county prosecutor off the case because they feel there's a conflict of interest because that prosecutor has a child who goes to Utah Valley University. So they're saying showing this video of the murder during that hearing about a conflict of interest is irrelevant, it's graphic, and it would potentially alienate future jurors. Do they have a point here?
Well, they have a point, Bill, in the sense that it's not really necessary for the judge to view that video in the context of deciding whether the prosecutor has to be removed because he's got a daughter who may have been either at the school or in the audience. I don't think that's a very good reason to dismiss a prosecutor. If they were worried that a juror's family member were at the school or in the audience, that would be a different thing. But there's no requirement that prosecutors may be biased in favor of prosecution. So that it's kind of I think I wouldn't say it's a frivolous motion. Defense lawyers obviously going to make it. If we were talking about suppressing the videotape in connection with the trial, that would be ridiculous. But in connection with this hearing, the judge may not need to see it to decide that narrow issue.
Yeah, and here's a little bit more on the motion the defense filed here. It says in part, quote, "Nothing about the motion or the state's opposition necessitates the viewing of the moments just before or the moment of Mr. Kirk's death and the captured audio in order to reach a legal conclusion about the existence of that actual or apparent and unwaivable conflict of interest." They go on to say that the video is, quote, "graphic and highly disturbing." So, Andy, to your point, they're not saying the video can't be played during the actual trial. They just don't think it's relevant for this hearing here. Your thoughts?
And it may be, Bill, that, if the prosecutors think about it, it's going to be difficult enough to select a jury in this case. So they may not want to be in a position of being depicted as sort of overemphasizing this video before we even get to the jury trial and creating a bunch of publicity that makes it a little harder to pick a jury. But look, this is a horrific murder And there's no way to sanitize it into a way that it's not a horrific murder. And when it gets down to trial, the government is entitled to prove its case.
Yeah, and to your point, murder is graphic and disturbing, right? Let's take a look at some of the laundry list of charges that Robinson is facing. Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, tampering with a witness, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child. So, Andy, looking at this motion for next week and the defense not wanting that video having to do with that hearing, how do you think the judge is going to rule on this one?
I think the judge will rule that the prosecutor can stay on the case. This is not an adequate basis to remove a prosecutor. If you think about it, Bill, common sense-wise, you know, I prosecuted murderers and terrorists and all that stuff. Prosecutors are not required to like the people that they prosecute or even be open-minded about their character. They have to be professional and follow the rules of the court. And again, if it was a juror's family member, that would be an issue. With the prosecutor, it's not an issue.
Yep, certainly going to be a whole lot of eyeballs on this one. Andy McCarthy, always appreciate your expertise, and thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
In this 4-block area in Los Angeles, there are 42 hospices. So either there are a lot of people dying here, or you've got a fraudulent activity that is so good that everyone wants to get in on it.
All right, Dr. Mehmet Oz says LA has become ground zero for massive fraud worth billions. Steve Hilton just ahead amid growing demands for accountability. Plus this.
The hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more.
Celebrities lining up to support President Trump's accounts for children, putting them on a path to financial freedom and the American dream. James Freeman with reaction still to come.